Hey guys, how are you? I hope you're all doing very well. This afternoon I'm going to be doing another movie review. This movie is a horror film from the USA, English language, released in the year 2016, directed by Greg Bishop, and this film is called SiREN. So SiREN is about a group of friends. One of them is about to be married the following week, so the groom-to-be, his brother, is organising the bucks party. So they go to this strip club. The strip club is supposed to be beyond anything of their wildest dreams. It's supposed to be an unforgettable night, but things aren't really turning out that well because it's very, very disappointing. So just when they're ready to give up on this unforgettable night, they meet this man at the club, and the man tells them of this place that is going to be beyond all their wildest dreams, that it's going to absolutely deliver something that they're after. So reluctantly they all accept this offer and they follow this man down a lonely stretch of highway. And so when they're starting to second guess themselves because they're basically going out in the middle of nowhere, they arrive at the destination, which is this big mansion, a very eerie mansion. But once they go inside, they believe, okay, we've found exactly what we're after. So unfortunately for them, inside this mansion is harbouring this ancient evil that is about to be unleashed, and it's going to turn their night of wild partying into a night of wild survival. So whether or not they can outlast this ancient evil is something you're going to have to find out for yourself, because that's as far as I'm going with my synopsis. Now my thoughts on SiREN. Expectation levels coming into this film were at an absolute high, for the simple fact that this is based on the short film of Amateur Night, which was the first segment of the first film of VHS. And so although I don't really like VHS as an overall film, I still think that that first segment was by far the best in the trilogy. And so coming into it, being the fact that this is based on this film as being made into a feature film, I thought there was so much potential there. Is that yes, the actual short film was great, but if it was expanded, it could have been something unforgettable. So coming into it, I was expecting that quality, but unfortunately, although the movie is very entertaining, although it is very reminiscent of the film Jeepers Creepers in that you have a lot of fun, I still think the overall potential wasn't fully realised, and in the end it does become a little bit of a disappointment, and the overall short film was a lot better than the feature, and I still think that it really should have been left as the short film, because the short film had a certain quality to it that made it very, very scary, but I thought that quality is lost in translation when it comes into the feature, is because the overall mythology behind what is happening in this movie kind of lessens the quality a bit, because the subtlety of the first segment, Amateur Night, was what made the film scary. Is that this woman at the bar saying, I like you, very creepy, and then all of a sudden you realise exactly who she is. Because there's a lot of subtlety there, because it's just another female in the bar, that's what made it so scary. But when you explain it to the point that it does in this film, it kind of lessens that quality. So that was the biggest disappointment of the film, is that there was potential there. I don't think Greg Bishop really realised that. But saying that, there are a lot of very positive qualities to this movie. I thought, as I said, if you are a fan of Jeepers Creepers, you're probably going to like this film, is that it is very light-hearted. It doesn't take itself seriously. There are a few comedic moments without going over the top, going into a horror comedy. So it does have that light-hearted vibe to it where you can actually really enjoy it. You can invite your friends around with popcorn and beer and actually enjoy 90 minutes of your life. And so there are some movies that try to shock you. There are some movies that try to put you into the dumps. This movie doesn't do that. Although really bad things are happening, you're still having a lot of enjoyment in it. So if you like Jeepers Creepers, there are some scenes that are very reminiscent of that film. There is mythology that is from Jeepers Creepers as well, so it wouldn't surprise me if Greg Bishop was actually a fan of that film. Cinematography was absolutely fantastic. I love the setting of this mansion in the middle of nowhere. There were some very strange things that were happening inside, and you get that feeling that, okay, things are going to go from bad to worse very, very quickly. I like the overall, the woman in this film is the same actress from the first segment of VHS. I thought she was very creepy, and once again she delivers that sort of eeriness that the movie really needs. There is mythology behind this film that I think is very interesting. I'm not going to tell you what the mythology is because I'll give it away, but I thought that movie, it gives it a lot more interest to actually what is going on. I thought the acting was actually quite decent. Surprisingly, this movie doesn't have annoying characters. It has very realistic characters. These people want to have a lot of fun. The chemistry within these friends is there. You actually felt that they were friends, and when bad things happen, although you don't really care about them, whether or not they live or die, you don't get annoyed by them. So if you're not annoyed by them to the point where you want them to die, you get a little bit more fear factor. There were some horror set pieces that I thought were very well done. The violence isn't overdone to the point where it's kind of relying on shock value, so that was something I really appreciated as well. But there's enough shock value in the film to apply to those more hardened horror fans. So I thought the ending was very, very good. As I said, if you've seen Jeepers Creepers, you'll see a lot of qualities that are very reminiscent of that. So if you are a fan of Jeepers Creepers, chances are you're going to really like what SiREN has to offer. But as I said, unfortunately there are problems to the movie. The problems is the mythology behind this main entity Now, as I said, in the short, it was all about them meeting this girl at the bar, and you didn't know what she actually was. But in this film, it sets the platform from the very beginning. Is that okay? It's kind of lessened that vague quality that made the first segment very good. In that you know exactly who this person is, you know what's going to happen if they actually get close to her. So that I didn't really like. I didn't really like the backstory to this woman, and I thought it could have been a lot better if it was done in a different way. I didn't like the villain. Apart from this entity, this ancient entity, there's a villain that I thought was very silly. It didn't really need him. It kind of reminded me of a guy who was auditioning for an Elton John cover band. It didn't work, and I just thought that he was just a waste. He didn't really contribute anything in a very positive manner, and I thought that, okay, well, that just doesn't work for me. And so, yeah, we've also got some moments that I thought do get a little bit silly, but once again, that is that light-hearted vibe that the movie really wants. So overall, the actual short to this, the short that this movie is based on was better than the actual feature. I think it would have been a little bit better if it stayed as that short film, but having said that, I didn't hate this movie at all. I just thought that it could have been an unforgettable experience, but in the end what you get is a very entertaining experience that has some areas in the film that if it's expanded upon and it made it a little bit more vague, it could have been a lot better than it actually was. So overall, still definitely coming recommended. I had a lot of fun watching SiREN, and as a result of that, I'm going to give this film 3 stars. Alright guys, that's it for my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching movies, and I'll see you later.